The Alberta Program of Studies states, "Language is the basis of all communication and the primary instrument of thought. Language is a social and uniquely human means of exploring and communicating meaning. As well as being a defining feature of culture, language is an unmistakable mark of personal identity and is essential for forming interpersonal relationships, extending experiences, reflecting on thought and action, and contributing to society. Students enhance their language abilities by using what they know in new and more complex contexts and with increasing sophistication." These are all things that we will want to instill in our students when we are teaching English to them. Looking at the program of studies, there are some general outcomes that we will want to pay attention to as teachers. So for example, in General Outcome 1, students will listen, speak, read, write, view, and represent to explore thoughts, ideas, feelings, and experiences. So here students are learning to show their own thoughts and feelings and also be able to listen to the thoughts and feelings of others. And this is very important for those interpersonal relationships that was mentioned in the Alberta Program of Studies. Students will also be able to respond to texts in 2.2. And that's important not for only English, but all the different subjects as well, because students need to be able to have reading comprehension, understand what they are reading. And in General Outcome 3, you notice how there are to plan and focus, to select and process, to organize, record, and evaluate, to share and review. So this is how students show their thoughts and feelings, describing it through not only the written form, but also through speaking and maybe showing in multimedia processes. And General Outcome 5 is specifically about respecting others, strengthening community, and working within a group. So these are all very important things that are not only important for English language arts, but are important for students' entire lives, which is why language arts is so important, because it is the basis for so many things in our lives. These all relate back to the 6 language arts, which focus on important skills every person should work on honing. So these 6 language arts are 1, listening. So this is something that often teachers will ignore a little bit because they think, oh, well, students already know how to listen. But it is very important, because when we think that students are paying attention to us, maybe they're not, or they don't know how to get the meaning out of what they are listening to. For instance, a US study showed that when students listened to audiobooks while they read those books themselves, this helped improve their vocabulary, reading comprehension, and even their motivation to read. Speaking is also another important one. In the Tompkins, Winsor, Pearson textbook, it mentions on page 24 that students will participate in grand conversations as they respond to literature. So this is very important, that students can articulate their own ideas well. Number 3 is reading, which is, as on page number 24 again, a strategic meaning-making process. The importance of reading has been shown by various studies that have proven that when parents read to their children, especially in those early years, this really helps their children because they have expanded vocabularies and they've gotten a head start on reading. Number 4 is writing. Reading and writing often go hand in hand with one another. And number 5 is viewing. So this is with print and online advertisements, commercials, photographs. It's not only from just reading what's on the page, but also viewing illustrations, visual media, all those kind of things. And number 6 is finally visually representing, which is when students will create their own visual text, maybe through PowerPoints. And these 6 language arts also come back to the 21st century learner that has become part of Alberta's curriculum. So they mention here on the outside, engaged thinker, ethical citizen, entrepreneurial spirit. We want that focus on creativity, but especially the engaged thinker, because we want our students to be able to think for themselves, to come up with their own ideas. And underneath that we have communication, which is of course extremely important. It comes back to the speaking and the writing and the visually representing. Lifelong learning, which is also so important because we don't want our students just to learn from English language arts and end there. We want them to become learners for their entire lives. Alberta's K-12 system is a critical builder of literacy and develops students' abilities to think deeply about what they read and to express themselves accurately and effectively in a variety of contexts. So that relates right back to that 21st century learner, when we want our students to critically think and problem solve. Reading is extremely important, but it's only one of the things that we focus on in English language arts. Reading opens up new worlds for students, but it's only just the beginning.